Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Woodcraft CZ, aka Paul. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're returning, glad to have you back. Okay, so today we're going to go over dovetail guides, and specifically dovetail saw guides. Now there's a difference between marking and cutting with dovetail guides. And the type we're going to go over today are the type to help you saw a straight, or should I say the correct angled line. Now I have two main contenders. There are a couple more, but these are the two main types. We have this type, which is essentially a Veritas ripoff. This company is Hongdui, but Veritas are the original manufacturers and designers. I bought these after I bought these. Now these are the other type. These are from Katz-moses, and I believe these are like a polyurethane plastic, very hard, very robust. The black parts are anodized aluminium or painted aluminium. The brass parts are brass. Both of them, what they have in common are two things. They have magnets on this one here and on the opposing side, and on the Katz-moses one on all four sides. There's two small magnets on each side, and on this one large magnet on each side. These magnets are protected with a sort of soft plastic, while these have been epoxied. It looks like they've been epoxied in, and they are but they're not super flush, but they're flush enough to the surface that you don't feel any bumps, so it's a straight edge on all sides. Now why I'm making this video is because I was using these at first, but I decided I wanted to try them just to see if they offer any benefit. And when I tried them, I was actually surprised, and in a bad way. So this is what we're going to talk about. If you're on the market for a dovetail saw guide, you're just starting dovetails, such as I did, you want some help with your sawing because getting that straight cut takes practice, or getting that angled cut takes practice for the tails and for the pins. So the best bet is to get a saw guide. These will help you maintain and aid that saw to be on the correct line as it cuts. Now these saw guides come in two flavors. They're broken down into what we call ratios. We have the 8:1, as you can see, and the 6:1. They're less visible on the Katz-moses ones, but they've been engraved into the end, so it's not hard to tell. You just shine it on the light and you can see it. It's pretty clear. These are very clear. They've just been etched on, painted on. I'm not sure, I think just painted on, as you can see. So you've got the 1/8, or the 8:1 should I say, and then you've got the, no sorry, you've got the, 6:1 and 1:6. It's the same thing, either or, 6:1. That basically tells you the angle at which the line will sit. I believe if you have a right angle from the tip of X to the tip of Y should be 6 times X and 8 times X respectively. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. All you need to really know, this is not an education on dovetails because I'm far from the teacher to educate you on that matter. All you need to know is generally, if you're looking to buy a guide and you don't want to buy both of them, I'll help you choose the one that you need for your specific project in hand or your projects, your work. The 6:1 is generally for softwoods. The 8:1s are for aimed at hardwoods. This can be debated, and aesthetic reasons are subjective, but from a technical standpoint, they're suggested that the 6:1 soft, 8:1 hardwood. So if you're dealing with mainly hardwoods, get an 8:1. If you're dealing with mainly softwoods, get the 6:1. If not, both. I'm in Europe, as you guys probably already know, and these were slightly more expensive, almost double the price, if not more, after duties and taxes than these knockoffs. I bought these from Banggood or AliExpress or one of those. They worked out to about 25 euros each. These were about $60 each. I can't quite remember. The main reason for this video is not just to help you choose what saw guides you want or need, but it's perhaps tell you which saw guides not to buy. Now I say this because I've been using them all good and well. There is a slight con to these, and that these stems that offer support on your workpiece, that ride on your workpiece to help depict the angle, it can slide. But there's two solutions I've found. One which I haven't adopted is you can just spray some self-adhesive on here and put a very fine grit sandpaper on, and it just helps stop it from moving. But I haven't done that because the second option, generally I just put a clamp. Let me get a clamp. So I can put a clamp on here and just tighten it, and it's going to stay on the workpiece and be absolutely fine. There is a slight issue when it does come to cutting the pins, because you can see that it sits on an angled plane. It makes clamping a little bit more awkward, so I tend to hold it by hand. It's not a be-all and end-all. I do love these Katz-moses saw guides for dovetails, but I did want to try these clamping variety. You've got the clamp, as you can see. You can cut your dovetail, and you can cut the pin as well, which the pin is what sits into the dovetail, which is literally pins and tails. So these I have pre-marked out, and these are the tails, the V kind of tail of a pigeon, a dove, whatever you want to call it. And the pins are what's going to sit in the cutout segments. Now, I can tell you off the bat, if you use one of these Western saws, forget about buying this. Just throw it out the window, and I'll explain why a little bit later in the video. With these, I'm going to cut the tails, and it's clearly marked. Well, it's not clearly marked, but it's marked. It's etched in, laser etched. You can see, there we go, it's in focus. You can see that each side is marked with the corresponding effect you're going to achieve by cutting along that side. So it's tails, pins, and shoulder. Quick anatomy, you probably already know this already, even though you're just learning. Shoulder is the cut from the edge grain inwards, so it's a cross cut in. The tail is down, and you have two sides to the tail, this side and this side, and the pin will be the corresponding piece that slots in. Now let's cut a tail. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to take my Lie-Nielsen, we're going to butt it up. This is pre-marked, so here you go. I just butt it up. I can hold it. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to cut. And that cuts a lovely angled line, no problem. What did we use? 1/8, good. Let's get the 1/8. So if I want to set it to tails, I flip it around, set the clamp. Let's cut the other tail on the right side. So let's use a Japanese saw. I actually run into this problem with the Western saw, but I'm going to see if I run into this problem with the Japanese now, looking at it. This is a saw specifically for cutting dovetails. It's a crosscut saw by Z-Saw, lovely brand of Japanese pull saw. I had some other brands, but this is by far, I find, a lot sharper and retains an edge for much longer. So yeah, I haven't tried these with the Japanese saw, but we're going to give it a go. And yeah, you know, it's not as bad as a problem I ran into with the Western saw, but we're about to find out a similar problem. So let's saw. We're following the guide. And this is where the problem occurs. Because generally, dovetail saws have a spine. Japanese saw has a spine, Western saw Lie-Nielsen has a spine, and this spine offers rigidity to the saw blade so we don't wander. Now the problem I'm encountering is that this spine comes out of the saw blade, so when the saw blade is flush with the guide, it bottoms out far too quickly. You've initiated a cut, which could be argued you could continue by hand, but if you're new to dovetails such as myself, I'm not very confident with maintaining that cut. It's wandered a little bit here. You're probably not going to be able to see it on the video, but it's wandered ever so slightly. It's not the end of the world, but it just means the saw is no longer adjacent towards the end, and you want it adjacent all the way because the pin has to sit flush with the tail. So this is the biggest problem I've had. I couldn't really figure out why, I don't know, why you wouldn't use a dovetail saw to cut dovetails. I mean, these are huge. I never thought about it until it actually happened. But if you look at the profile on the Katz-moses, and then you look at a similar profile of this Veritas / Hongdui guide, you can see the increase. You have this much more room for depth. And as you saw on the first cut, I reached all the way to the tape, to my marking line, before the spine of the Western saw even came close. I mean, I have got the cheaper saw that I don't really use it, which has a taller blade. Let's try this one. So let's cut the other side. Let's see if I can, how far I can get. I should have left. So we've tightened it. We're going to add it. We're going to cut. When do we bottom out? Yeah, I feel it's a little bit deeper, but still nowhere near. Yeah, we're about halfway into the cut. If I take the Katz going to clamp it because, I mean, I could flip the board around, but for argument's sake, I'm just going to clamp it. Let's continue with this one. It's a shallower saw. I reach the tape even before bottoming out on the ridge, as you can see. So unless they come in smaller sizes and I'm unaware, I mean, they're pretty useless. If you need a saw guide, it means you're not really comfortable cutting straight, you know, you're cutting the appropriate lines. So why would you want to continue the rest of the cut unassisted? I would want the saw guide to see me through from start to end. So this is just a bit of food for thought on your decision when choosing between saw guides, because no doubt you've already done your homework, you're thinking about it, you're watching this video, you probably stumbled on it from a Google search, which saw guide to get. I would say spend extra money. You're going to be 100 times happier with this. And the reason I say that as well, it has a couple of extra features. Like I mentioned earlier, each side has a purpose. Going back to this one, you have the dovetail, and then you have, yeah, and this is the pin. So you set it on the opposing, on the angle, and you cut the pin like this. I do like the inbuilt clamp, but that's the only feature that it really has going for it. I just can't figure out why didn't they think of this or come up with it when they were testing or when they were doing their research and development. It's just bizarre that it only cuts a fraction before bottoming out. Most dovetail saws, both Western and Japanese, have a ridge, a spine. Yeah, so I mean, there you have it, guys. I hope this video has helped. Katz-moses all day long. There are other dovetail saw guides out there. You can build one yourself, super simple. As long as you have accurate and calibrated tools, you can achieve those ratios. Just Google search how to find the ratio. It's a super simple trigonometry equation. I just can't recall it off the top of my head. But otherwise, if you do want to buy one, I would say get the Katz-moses. Find your workaround for the sliding, either clamping or sandpaper stuck to the sides, or get a good grip. Just practice your grip. There is a bit of play, but if you hold it tight enough, your dexterity will build up the more you use it. Just watch your fingers. All I can say is you don't want to keep your fingers out like this and then start cutting, and the next thing you know, you're cutting into your finger. That's where this sort of benefits. You just clamp and forget. Don't have to worry about cutting into your fingers. But like I said, you've got a bit of sandpaper stuck to the sides, helps even more. I don't really want to do it, but I've got a strong enough grip to keep it in place, and when I don't, I just use a clamp. One little handy tip that I can offer you is when you cut the sides to dovetails, and you do get the Katz-moses, so let's say we're on tails, you cut, and you cut the final one, so let's say like this, cut. You're going to then want to do the left side. So instead of spinning it around and trying to sort of cut it like this, just keep it simple. Spin the stock around. Don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. I was trying to cut it with my other hand and go left-handed cuts and just be a nincompoop. Tails, just go like that. Same hand again. Find you where you want to cut. Butt it up. Hold nice and tight. Cut. There you go. Super simple. Watch your fingers. And there you have it. That's your tails cut. Nice and simple, no issues, no bottoming out. Super quick. I'll quickly show you how to do the shoulder. Turn it on the side. Find your shoulder edge, which is this. Get your saw. Butt it up on the tape that you've used or whatever marking line, whatever. Butt it up. Cut. There you go. Beautiful dovetail, super simple, super quick. You do get the hang of it. Yeah, so if I'm missing something about why the saws bottom out on this, am I doing something wrong, please let me know in the comments. I just can't fathom why they would have not discovered this. Why does this have to be so chunky? Are they using, I mean, I guess if you're doing huge furniture and you're using, I don't know, a Ryobi saw or something, I guess if you're using this type of saw, you have no spine. But look, if you're looking to get into dovetails and you're doing your homework and you've got your Western saw, your Japanese pull saw that's for dovetails, it's more than likely going to have a spine on it. Don't buy this. You're just going to make yourself hard work. I mean, in the long run, the silver lining would be you'll be forced to get better at cutting it without a guide, which is truly a benefit. But you're just going to go straight into the deep end by doing that. I would say, such as myself, I started off with the Katz-moses. They were great. I was just curious, and you know what they say about curiosity. I don't think I'm ever going to use these unless I'm doing large format furniture and I'm going to use a Ryobi saw. These just aren't going to cut it. or I get good at cutting it by hand without a guide, and then I won't need to use them at all. There's no point me starting it and doing the rest by hand. I might as well do the whole thing by hand, I guess. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I also do want to mention I've hit the 1,000 mark subscribers. Obviously, I'm trying to get more subscribers. If you found anything useful in this video, or if it was of value to you, please consider subscribing. And also smashing that like button. It means a lot. Leave a comment down below and look forward to seeing you hopefully in the next video. Until then guys, take it easy and happy woodworking.